Hey, what's going on? Thank you so much for taking just a few minutes to watch this quick video with me. If you're watching this, you've probably already been asked to lead a group at the church, or maybe you've led a group in the past or you're leading one now. And I just want to thank you for just taking a few minutes to watch this video and kind of hear my heart behind groups. So you should have received kind of a job description for us at this point from the church to you about what it means to be a community group leader. And really for us, it's really just someone who has a seat at the table. It's somebody who, is present. They're connecting, they're serving, they're giving, and they're striving for excellence in everything they do here at the church. They love Piedmont. They speak well of the leadership, and they have a vision to see God's kingdom grow through the church here. And that's really step one for us in a group leader. Step two is someone who kind of sees the need for leaders to step up and lead others. And so what we want to talk about for just a few moments is what that leadership looks like. Our win, as you should have received a document from us kind of outlining what it means to be a win from the church for a group, says you win when your group has meaningful interactions, both inside and outside of the group, that influence their faith in Jesus and deepen their relationships with others. And so basically, simply what that means is we want you to build relationships that not only impact your time of gathering, but impact your time of scattering. And so there's a couple of steps that we've talked about on how to do this and what would make your group the best and what we think would make the church grow from your excelling and amazing leadership. So step one is to feed the sheep. So as a community group leader, you're kind of tasked with this shepherding concept of making sure that they are fed, that they have everything that they need in being sheep and following after Jesus. And so you are ensuring that they are being in community, Christian community, growing together, and then getting in God's word. So a lot of times community groups are really good at gathering together, maybe for some fun times, maybe for some trivia nights, or they set up text message chains for prayers and emails, but maybe they're not so good at Bible study, or vice versa. Some are really great at getting into God's word, but they don't ever connect with each other. What we want to see in feeding the sheep is we want to see you connecting both in God's word and as his people. And so it really kind of connects our mission of the church right there in community groups, to love God, to love people, and then to invest in his kingdom is to really kind of feed the sheep here in step one. The step two is to push the sheep out. And so what we want to see as community group leaders is you challenging your people to take on this love God, love people, invest in his kingdom mentality outside of the brick and mortar of the church. And so traditionally what churches would do is they put together missions or evangelism outfits and all these other things so that people in the church can have an opportunity to go serve. Maybe it's a trunk or treat, or maybe it's a Christmas outreach, whatever it is, and the church-wide event happens. What we want to start seeing happen is that these events happen at the community group level, and we funnel people into those community groups. And so, for example, if one of the community groups decided, hey, we want to do a fall festival, they'd talk to us and the church and the pastoral staff, and we go, okay, how can we help do this? How can we help push people to you? And so maybe one of the community leaders says, my neighborhood has a lot of young kids, and so what we'll do is we'll try to get our resources together with our inflatables and maybe some of the same money that we would spend on a church-wide event, and we'll funnel it through your group. And we'll try to get people to come serve. And so then what if you had 4 or 5 groups that said, hey, this is a great idea, and we all did the same thing? So instead of having one fall festival event at the church, we have 4 or 5 community groups who took over a neighborhood, maybe their own neighborhood, and they threw one on for their neighbors. And they had inflatables and hot dogs and, I don't know, all kinds of other face painting, whatever things going on. And then we funneled our resources and our people from the church into those community groups and into those neighborhoods. And really, instead of gathering people, we then scattered in our community and went to be the hands and feet of Jesus in that kind of way. So that's just one example. So we want to talk about more of those as community groups grow and as we plug more people in and as we try to get this effort moving forward. The third thing we want to do is we want to ask you to kind of take attendance and kind of keep us in step with who exactly is in your community group. How are they doing? The pastoral staff really wants to know, how are the people in your group? Are they connecting? Are they struggling? How can we help when care events come in their life, when there's illness or death or maybe new babies? We want a lot of that effort to be moving through the community group. So our care team will be reaching out in connection. If there's a baby being born, in connection with you, about, hey, what does it look like to throw a baby shower? Or if there is a death in the family, we want to be connecting with you as leaders and with our care team to go, how do we support this family as best as possible? And so we want the life of the church to run through groups. And so part of that is taking attendance physically, going into our groups portal and setting your schedule and having the emails go out to your people and doing it that way. Part of it is just keeping the pastoral staff in loop of, hey, here's my people, here's where we're going, and here's what we need. And then the fourth part is, not fourth part, I should say, another part of that attendance is keeping the pastoral staff in tune with what you're teaching. Like, what studies are you going through right now? What's happening in life? And how can we best equip you? Maybe there's a sermon that we're preaching that you would love to get small group questions on. So we can give you those questions based off of the sermon series, or maybe we can help you find other series to use. We want to be a resource to you as best as possible. And then, like I said, the fourth thing, the last thing, is training for new groups. And so we expect to see growth in our church tremendously over the next couple of years. We are hoping to see God move in a big way. And I believe as you own the mission of the church and the vision that God's laid on your heart to lead, we'll see that through your community group. And so what we want to do is we want to come in partnership with you, and we want to start saying, hey, who are you training to be another community group leader? Like, who is your co-leader? Who's helping hold you accountable? Who's helping teach in your group when you're out? Or is everything kind of focal point, center point around you? And so those four things of feeding the sheep, pushing the sheep out, taking attendance, both physically doing that on our groups portal and keeping us in tune with kind of the heartbeat, the pulse of your group, as well as then training the next generation and the next people to take over new groups, maybe to launch out. How are you helping us do those things? And so that's a quick video of some of the things that we want to be doing and challenging you to do. And hopefully this makes sense, and we'll have some more resources coming out for you as well. So again, I appreciate your willingness and your heart. I love you, and I appreciate all that you do for the church and the kingdom. Talk to you later.